What happens when a rising star's dream career collides with a discovery so shocking it threatens to end everything overnight? For 20-year-old musician d4vd, one of the fastest rising voices in pop and indie music, the spotlight suddenly shifted in the most unexpected way. A strange smell, an impounded car, and inside, something that would change his life forever. Fans who once cheered his lyrics are now asking the same question: how did this even happen? It all began on September 8, when neighbors in a quiet Hollywood Hills street called authorities about a strange, foul odor drifting through the neighborhood. Police arrived and traced the smell to an impounded Tesla parked on North Mansfield Avenue. When officers popped the front trunk, what they found stunned even seasoned investigators. Inside was a bag, and inside that bag, human remains already in a state of decomposition. The vehicle was quickly traced back to none other than d4vd, the Houston-born singer who had just begun making waves across the music world. In an instant, a rising star was tied to a disturbing investigation that no one could have seen coming. But the real shock came days later, when the body inside the car was finally identified. Days later, the mystery of the body inside that Tesla was finally revealed. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner confirmed the remains belonged to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, a teenager who had been reported missing more than a year earlier. Her official date of death was listed as September 8th, the very day the car was impounded. But the cause? Marked as deferred. That meant investigators didn't yet know or weren't ready to reveal how she died. The details only made the story more unsettling. Reports said Celeste was wearing a tube top, black leggings, a yellow bracelet, and stud earrings at the time her body was found. For many, it was the first time this missing persons case even reached their radar. And now, it was tied directly to a chart-rising artist. But as the world absorbed her identity, vd's carefully planned tour and album rollout began to collapse almost overnight. Almost immediately after Celeste's identity was confirmed, d4vd's career began to unravel. What was supposed to be the biggest year of his life suddenly turned into a public relations nightmare. First came the cancellations. A concert in Seattle was quietly pulled from the schedule, and within days, every remaining US date on his tour was gone. Fans who had bought tickets weeks in advance were left in shock, many demanding answers online. Then came the music delay. The deluxe version of his album Withered was set to drop on September 19th, hyped up by his fan base. But when the day arrived, there was nothing. No release, no announcement, only silence. And while his American shows had collapsed, questions began to swirl about his upcoming international tour. Would his performances in Europe and Australia actually move forward, or was everything about to be scrapped? But the fallout didn't end with his music. The business world moved just as fast, and the results were brutal. The damage didn't stop at tours or music. Behind the scenes, brands and collaborators began cutting ties with lightning speed. Crocs and Hollister, two of the biggest names that had just tapped d4vd for fresh campaigns, pulled him from their promotions almost instantly. What was meant to be a massive style crossover for the rising star suddenly vanished without explanation. Even fellow artists weren't willing to take the risk. Kali Uchis, who had recorded a collaboration with d4vd, announced she was in the process of pulling their track before it could ever see the light of day. For a young musician trying to climb the charts, this was devastating. In just a matter of days, d4vd went from being seen as one of music's most exciting new voices to being treated like a name no one wanted to touch. And as fans tried to make sense of the collapse, investigators uncovered a detail that was far more unsettling than any canceled show. Just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any stranger, one chilling detail sent the internet into a frenzy. According to the medical examiner, Celeste Rivas had a tattoo etched on her right index finger. Just one word: shh. Not long after, fans resurfaced old photos of d4vd from 2024. On his right index finger, the exact same tattoo. Was it just a coincidence, a passing trend, or something deeper? That single detail was enough to spark thousands of theories across social media. Some claimed it hinted at a secret connection between the two. Others argued it could be nothing more than random chance. Investigators, meanwhile, have stayed silent on the tattoos, refusing to confirm or deny any link between Celeste and d4vd. And with the silence, speculation only grew louder. But while fans traded theories online, the police themselves were forced to walk back a shocking statement. As the story spiraled online, even the authorities struggled to control the narrative. At first, LAPD officials announced they were investigating the case as a homicide. Headlines spread fast, fueling speculation that d4vd himself could soon face charges. But within hours, police backtracked. A follow-up statement admitted the homicide label had been premature. Suddenly, the case was was no longer being publicly called a murder investigation, only a mysterious death with the cause still deferred. That confusion left fans more unsettled than ever. If investigators weren't sure how Celeste died, why call it a homicide in the first place? And why correct it so quickly? Even now, no suspects have been named, no charges have been filed, and no clear answers have been given, which leaves everyone asking the same thing. Was this a tragic coincidence, or is there something far darker still hidden behind the silence? In just a matter of days, the story of d4vd transformed from one of rising fame to a tale of shocking discovery and sudden collapse. Promising career, tour dates, and major brand deals, all brought to a halt by an investigation no one saw coming. Yet, despite all the fallout, one thing remains clear. No charges have been filed. Investigators still haven't revealed the truth behind what happened to Celeste. Rivas. Every detail released so far only deepens the mystery. That's where the story stands, in a star's future hanging in the balance. Family seeking answers. A fan base left divided between disbelief and suspicion. Is this a tragic coincidence? The beginning of something far darker. The world is watching closely.